It absolutely, unequivocally is not Joe Biden's fault that inflation is going up, and I am going to tell you why. Inflation, the act of inflating. But when it comes to the money market and the money supply, inflation stands for the devaluing of the dollar. There are too many of them. The amount of money in the money market is too much. I did find it pretty odd when both the left and the right corporate media organizations were putting it out there that it was Joe Biden's fault that we have inflation. However, it really isn't. And the main reason is because of this graph. Check this out. So what this graph shows is the M1 money supply, or the amount of money in total circulation. And when you see the dates, this all started back in 2020. Now, I'm not going to start blaming Donald Trump for inflation, although it seems to be pretty popular to be blaming him for everything that's going on right now. However, there is somebody, there is a culprit to put the blame on, and his name is Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is the head of the Federal Reserve. He is pretty much in control of the interest rates and the amount of money that's being poured into the money markets. Now, I know what you're saying. Joe Biden is president, or Donald Trump was president at the beginning of the inflationary period. So why aren't we blaming them? Well, because they're not Jerome Powell's boss. Jerome Powell being the head of the Federal Reserve, he really doesn't have a boss, except for possibly the Treasury Secretary, which is currently Janet Yellen. So with Jerome Powell being the one in control with interest rates and the money market supply of our dollar bills, why are we blaming Joe Biden or any of the presidents for the rise in inflation? Well, a couple of the reasons why people are wanting to blame Joe Biden for the rise in inflation is because of the supply chain issues and all of that, but that is really not that big of an impact when you consider how much money we've printed since 2020. So this right here is part of the graph for the M1 money market, and you can see how it literally hit the fan in 2020 when it comes to our supply of money in the markets. Some different quotes I've heard over the last year is that for every $4 there are in existence, about 2 or 3 of them have been printed in the last year, which is not good. That is a lot of additional printing that we probably shouldn't be doing. What happens when we continue to print money? Well, what happens when you have too many oranges? You don't want any more oranges. Think of it like this. You have 100 oranges, and you can sell them, right? You can get rid of them. You can sell them for a small amount of money because there's some type of demand for oranges. What if you kept getting oranges, and then you had 200 and 300 and 400 and 500 and so on of oranges? Well, you would be holding too many oranges, you'd be trying to get rid of them, and eventually all of the people that would buy them would also have oranges. So you literally couldn't give away the oranges, right? That's what we don't want to face with our dollar. Another way of thinking of it is if you make $50,000 a year, well, last year it was $50,000, and this year your $50,000 is worth the same as about $47-ish thousand, okay? Not cool. You just took a huge pay cut. Now, there can be positives to inflation if you are getting an increase in your pay. One thing that doesn't increase with inflation is the size of your loans. So, with the value of the dollar being worth about 6 to 7% less this year, that means that if you are getting paid 6 to 7% more, then it should be easier to pay off your loans and your debt. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is no big problem and 10 is, oh my god, we are going to be doomed, I regret to inform you that this is up there. It's getting higher and higher up on that list, the higher and higher inflation gets. Because it's not just our country that this is affecting. Our inflation here affects everybody that's holding dollar bills all over the planet. If the value of those keep going down, why would they want to keep holding those dollar bills? They would want to exchange them for another currency. Why is that such a big deal? Well, a lot of our power and weight on the planet comes from the fact that our currency is the one that's used by so many other countries for massive transactions, very large transactions. If that doesn't happen, we don't have the weight anymore. I don't want to scare you with any of this stuff, but it is really serious, and we really should be putting blame where it needs to be blamed, and that is on Jerome Powell. Yes, I am putting all of the blame on inflation, on the man named Jerome Powell, and I think we just put him in for another term, so that we can thank our Congress for doing that. So what do we do now? Well, we enjoy the roller coaster ride up on inflation, and let's just hope that it doesn't fall off of a cliff. That's what I'm doing, and that's basically what we all can do. Another way to hedge against inflation is to have assets. So Any type of object or property is going to increase in value, but be careful with that too. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment down below. I really want you to participate in this community, and I'll participate right back. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you.